Hi guys, and welcome back to MOTO Capers. Well, what's an old biker to do when the weather is absolute poop? So as you can see, the weather's really crappy. No riding today for me, but I've just actually purchased the SHAD 3P Pannier rail system and some SH36 Panniers, and I've got that laid out on the floor here. And what we're going to do this gloomy Friday afternoon is install them on our Super Meteor 650. So again, welcome back to the channel, and hope you enjoy this video, guys. Okay, so I guess the first thing we should do is have a look at the parts that come with the 3P Pannier rail system, and that's the two rails themselves that go on the side of the bike, some instructions there, and a whole heap of fittings. So we've got some long screws, spacers, and down here to go on the bottom mount, some shorter screws and bolts. The right tools required to do the job: you're going to need a 6mm Allen key here to undo the silver bullet head screws or bolts that are in the side of the bike rear fender already. You'll need a 5mm Allen key for these new hex screws, and you'll need an adjustable spanner or a 1/2 inch ring spanner for that nut there. Obviously our blue Loctite, because I'm going to put some blue Loctite on it when I put it together, so that it stays nice and firm. Alright, so that's a brief look at what comes in the pack. Let's have a look now and see how we can get it together. Alright, so before we start, guys, what I've done is got some turtle wax seal and shine, so the polish that I like to use to seal and protect my paint, and I've given this a really good coat to protect it, because once the pannier rail goes on, you're not going to get easy access behind there. So I figure, why not put a good coat of sealant on there to protect it before I get started. So the way the pannier rail fits on, it will slide in much like that. So we've got two fixings at the top and one fixing down here near the rear foot peg. Okay, so obviously to do that, we'll need to remove these two existing silver hex screws, and then we'll start to build everything up in place as per the instructions. Okay, so with our 6mm Allen key, let's get started removing these existing hex nuts or hex bolts. Oh, I thought for sure I was going to take the bark off my fingers then. Right, so once these are removed, you won't need these again, but I would suggest you might want to hang on to them. I've seen people in the past throw them away, but you never know, they could come in handy, or you might want to remove the pannier rails at a later date, in which case you'll want these bolts to put back in. So definitely my tip, keep those. Okay, Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is start to mount the top of the 3P pannier mount system up here onto the actual mudguard of the bike itself. By the instructions, we'll need one of the longer screws, a spring washer, then a normal washer. Then it'll go through the actual pannier mount plate. Then we'll put 2 washers on and a spacer, and it'll screw directly into the captive nut inside the rear fender there. Right guys, so as you can see, I've got that put together as per the instructions. Bolt, spring washer, pannier mounting plate, 2 washers and a spacer. Right, I offer that up to the side of the bike. And start to screw that in place. Okay, be careful here guys that you don't actually thread any bolts. That would suck. Right, so that one's started. I'll now get the other bolt set up on and started as well. Once that's started, then I'll remove this, place some Loctite on and put it back in all the way. Okay, so what you'll see there guys is we've got both in and started. I'm now going to drop a tiny bit of Loctite on this thread so that will stay in nice and tight, and I don't have to worry about the panniers coming loose at any time in the future inadvertently. Right, with that said guys, I'll now go through and nip that up. But I don't want to go super tight yet. We want to make sure we get all of the bolts in place and Loctited first. So I'm just going to crack on now and do the same thing with the other side. Alright guys, so what I've done now is I've gone through, placed in both of these top hex screws with the spacers and the washers as per the instructions, and a little bit of blue Loctite to make sure it stays in place. I haven't gone overly tight on those. I'm now going to come down here to where the third mount joins near the foot peg, and I'll place that bolt in. Alright guys, so for this bottom join on the mount here, we need a shorter screw with 1 washer on the outside. We need to make sure that this flange comes down on the inside of the existing bike frame. Screw, washer, then we'll go washer on the other side of everything and our nut. Okay, and again we'll Loctite that to make sure that it's all nice and tight and we don't have to worry about it coming loose in future. Right, so we'll place that in, place our washer on the inside, and just before we place our nuts, I'll start that, get it ready. I'll put some drops of Loctite, blue Loctite, on that bolt there so that that nut is locked on nice and tight. Then using my shifter or 1/2-inch spanner on the inside and a 5mm hex screw or Allen key on the outside, we'll nip that up. Right, so that's our drop of Loctite on the screw. Pull the position our shifter. And start moving it up. This is where if I was a smart man, I'd be using a ratchet. Obviously I'm not a smart man. Right, and then we nip that up nice and tight. We'll then go back around to each one of the other hex screws and nip those up as well to make sure we're nice and secure. Alright, that's not going anywhere. Bit of Loctite in place there, so that will keep that locked on nice and tight. Right, and you can see there, guys, that our 3P pannier mount on the right hand side of the bike is now installed. So I actually quite like the look of it on the bike. It's really unobtrusive, and it's the same black powder coated finish as the frame, so it really does blend in quite nicely. Yeah, all in all, quite happy with that. So what I'll do now is I'll go through and basically do exactly the same process on the other side of the bike, and then we'll have a bit of a look and see what it all looks like together. We may even break out the panniers and see how they fit on. Okay, so what I'll do now, we'll have a bit of a look overall at the bike. So again, there's our pannier rails in place. As you can see, they blend in quite nicely, and they are nice black powder coated pannier rails. Right, they don't stick out too far from the side of the bike there either, so really quite nice. Alright, awesome, easy job. SH36 Pannier, really good size, 36 litre pannier with a handle, and there's our 3P mounting system. So there's this flange here and then two on the top. Obviously this flange goes on the vertical mount on the bike, so this flange here will come onto here first, and then we rest these two down over the top, pull this lever and lock it into place. To open our pannier, there's a handle inside here. We lift up and it opens down to the side. So you'll see in there you've got a few extra attachments, and SHAD always give you a spare barrel and keys, so that if you do put a top box on your bike later, you can put that barrel in, and that way all three of your lockable panniers and top box will be keyed alike. That are SHAD panniers in and on our bike. I think they look really good. Right guys, and just to prove the storage capacity of the SH36 Panniers, here is my modular full face helmet. It's an extra large size, and you can see that fits in easily. So yeah, really good, really great storage space here. You can now go for a ride on your bike, lock your helmet away, put your jacket and gloves on the other side, and you're good to go. Nice and secure. Alright guys, so look, I hope you really enjoyed the video today. I know I enjoyed making it. With that said, I'd like you to consider please liking and subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one.